Hello students, here we are continuing with the chapter number 9, control and coordination, and in this video we are going to learn about human brain. Part 1 means here we are learning the forebrain. The human brain is uh, about 1.35 kg to 1.5 kg in weight, and the volume of the brain is 1450 cubic centimeter. And the study of human brain, the study of brain is called encephalology. The human brain, the study is called as encephalology. First we will see the chart. The entire brain is divided into three parts. Forebrain is also called as prosencephalon, midbrain is called as mesencephalon, hindbrain is called as rhombencephalon. There are three major parts of the brain. The forebrain further divided into the olfactory lobes. There are two lobes are there, and next is the cerebrum. The cerebrum is also called as telencephalon, and the third part of the forebrain is called as diencephalon. Diencephalon further divided into epithalamus, thalamus and hypothalamus. Three parts are there. So forebrain is divided into olfactory lobe, cerebrum, diencephalon. Diencephalon further divided into epithalamus, thalamus and hypothalamus. The midbrain, the mesencephalon divided into cura cerebri and corpora quadrigemina. Midbrain is a very narrow part which connects the forebrain with the hindbrain. The hindbrain, which is called rhombencephalon, divided into cerebellum, pons feroli, medulla oblongata. This metencephalon, myelencephalon you can omit. See, if you want to make the chart little shorter, minimize, then you may omit few terms like this prosencephalon, rhinocephalon, telencephalon. If you are not comfortable to write that, you can omit. You can write brain divided into forebrain, midbrain, hindbrain. This forebrain divided into olfactory, cerebrum, olfactory lobe, cerebrum and diencephalon, and in under diencephalon epithalamus, thalamus, hypothalamus you have to write, must have to write. And this midbrain you have to write this cura cerebri and corpora quadrigemina, and under hindbrain directly you can write cerebellum, pons feroli and medulla oblongata. It is okay. So this is all about the different parts of the brain. We will start here with the forebrain. The forebrain is divided into three parts. One is the olfactory lobe. Olfactory lobe are consist of the olfactory lobe is related to sense of smell, and in human being it is not well developed. It is quite reduced. It is reduced in human brain, and the olfactory lobe is consist of a stalk is called peduncle and a olfactory bulb. In case of animals who are having very strong of smell like dogs, cats and etc., they are having a well developed olfactory lobe, and you know in human being we don't have that kind of strong sense of smell, so obviously we have very reduced olfactory lobes. Now second part of the forebrain is the most important part of the brain is cerebrum. Cerebrum is consists of, it is making the 85% of the total brain. There is, I have made a notes for you. Now the cerebrum is the part, whenever you talk about the brain, it is mostly we talk about cerebrum. The cerebrum is 85% of the brain. It is divided into right side and left side cerebral hemisphere. The cerebral hemispheres are formed because of a deep median longitudinal fissure. A depression is there in the cerebrum which divides the cerebrum into left side, right side cerebral hemisphere. Now the cerebral hemisphere on the ventral side, they are connected to each other by corpus callosum. There is a bundle of nerve fibers which connect cerebral hemisphere on ventral side is called corpus callosum. Now the cerebrum is When you see the sagittal structure, it is having two different shadings, colors. The outer part of the cerebrum is called as gray matter, made up of gray matter. It appears little grayish in color, cream in color, and the inner part is called cerebral medulla, which is white matter. Means the gray matter means it is consist of the cytons, the cell bodies of the neurons, and the non-modulated fibers. So because of that cytons and non-modulated fibers, it appears grayish in color, cream in color, butter color, and it appears gray matter. It is said to be gray matter. And the white matter appears because of modulated nerve fibers. The modulated nerve fibers are formed when the axon is covered by myelin sheath, which is made up of Schwann cells. So the cerebral cortex, the outer part of the cerebral cortex is made up of gray matter, inside it is white matter. Now in the deep inside the cerebrum, on the cerebral hemisphere on both sides, there are empty spaces are there inside. The empty spaces are filled with cerebrospinal fluid. Those are called ventricles. Later on we will discuss in detail about ventricles. Now on the surface of the cerebrum is not plain, rather it is like this. It is having elevations and it is having depressions. The elevations are called as gyri and the depressions are called as sulci. Sulcus is the single depression or convolution, depression or the groove, and the elevations, these upper parts are called as the gyri. Gyri and sulci make the surface area more, and that also help in accommodation of more number of neurons. When the surface area is more, it consumes more quantity of oxygen, so activity of the nerve cells becomes more, means brain becomes more active. Now each cerebral hemisphere, right side and left side, each one is divided into 4 different lobes. Those lobes are formed because of this sulcus. See, this is the different area, functional area, lobes of the cerebral hemisphere, one side of the cerebral hemisphere. The first one is the frontal lobe. The area of the orange color area is frontal lobe, which is separated from the parietal lobe, second one, by this sulcus. This sulcus, the depression is called central sulcus. Now the parietal lobe is separated from the occipital lobe by another sulcus is called parieto-occipital sulcus. Now this is the temporal lobe. The temporal lobe is separated from the others by temporal sulcus. Now the sulcus are dividing the cerebral hemisphere into 4 different lobes. There is one more lobe is there, that is called as insula. There is a fifth median lobe is called, which is deep inside the temporal lateral inside within the lateral sulcus, that is called as insula. That is formed because of a sulcus inside the lateral sulcus is called Sylvian sulcus. Look at here. This is here in the insular cortex, insular lobe, which is present in the lateral sulcus. Now come here. Corpus striatum. Before going to corpus striatum, I will show you the different functional areas and functions of the cerebral hemisphere. Now this is a picture of a cerebral hemisphere. The cerebral hemisphere is having controls all the activity of your body. The cerebral hemisphere here, in case you can see, if this is having the frontal lobe. Now the frontal lobe is separated from parietal lobe by the central sulcus. Central sulcus separates it. Now on the frontal lobe, you can see this purple area. This is called primary motor cortex. This primary motor cortex controls all the motor activity, all voluntary movements of the body, all muscular activity. What you write, you speak, whatever things you are doing, that is controlled by this primary motor cortex, voluntary motor activity. Now next to that, left side to that, this area is called premotor cortex. This is also controls the muscular activity of the involuntary organs and autonomous organs. Now there is comes this association area. These are the association area. This association area is for coordination between sensation and movement. It will receive, it was just a processing area. It will, whatever information is coming to the brain, that has to be processed in this area. So this is called as association area. Accordingly, some response is formed in this area. So it is area of thought, thinking, personality, judgment. Okay, so this is all related to intelligence, memory. All these things are all present in this, controlled by this area, is called association area. There is one important interesting area is there, is called Broca's area. This area, pink color, you can see, this is the motor speech area. Motor speech area, it translates the thoughts into your speech. So people who can express their feelings properly, they can communicate properly, they are having a well developed Broca's area, active Broca's area. So this is all about the frontal lobe. Frontal lobe is basically related to what we do. All our motor activity, voluntary activities, involuntary activities are controlled by this frontal lobe. Now come to the second lobe, is called parietal lobe. The parietal lobe is related to sensation. It is primarily mainly for somatoaesthetic sensation of pain, pressure, temperature and taste. So in this also you can see, next to this central sulcus, this area is called primary somatosensory area. Somatosensory area, whatever your body is getting sensation of temperature, pain and pressure, that is all received by this area. And next one is the association area. Sensory association area means it is the area will process whatever sensation you are getting, whether the sensations were already you have received or it is a new sensation. All that type of association, processing of the data, whatever your body is getting, is processed by this area. Now come to this occipital lobe. This occipital lobe is having, most important is visual area. It is having the last end part is called primary visual cortex, which is related to your vision, controls your vision. Or the next to that are association area, which process the whatever visual impulses are coming from your eye. If in a by any accident or anything, if this occipital lobe get injury, then the person will lose the vision, sight. The person may become blind. Similarly, if the frontal lobe is get injured, the person will lose memory, intelligence, reasoning, all thing will go, and or also motor activity will go. We cannot do muscular activity. If the sensory area is, this parietal lobe get injured, the person will not feel any pain, pressure, temperature, the sensation will go. Come to the last lobe, is the temporal lobe. The temporal lobe is related to, it contains the center for smell, hearing as well as speech. You can see here, this on the, this is primary auditory cortex related to hearing, auditory association area. Also it is related to emotion, and this area is related to smell also. So this is about all these four lobes present over here in the cerebral hemisphere. This is a one-page note, is about the functional area of the cerebrum or cerebral hemisphere. So for all the four lobes areas, that functions are given, so you can note of it. Now next comes the important thing. One of the thing of the cerebral hemisphere is this one, is called corpus stratum. Now corpus stratum is what? It is an example, it is the Example of basal nucleus. It is the big basal nucleus, largest basal nucleus present in the cerebrum. Now what is this basal nucleus or basal nuclei? Basal nuclei is nothing but it is a mass of grey matter present in the white matter. White matter of the cerebrum towards the thalamus is containing some grey matter. That grey matter mass is called basal nucleus. Now what is that? They receive neurotransmitters from various parts of the body. Also what they do? They help in execution of different activities at subconscious level, such as writing slowly or typing rapidly or writing rapidly. Now corpus luteum is one of the largest basal nuclei at the thalamus, the base of the cerebrum, floor of the cerebrum. So this is about the cerebrum. Next one we will discuss about the third part of the forebrain is called as diencephalon. This is the diencephalon. Diencephalon is the third part. It is present next to the cerebrum. I told you the cerebral hemisphere inside contains the two ventricles, the spaces which containing cerebrospinal fluid. Those ventricles are called lateral ventricles. Same way, diencephalon also contains a empty space, encloses a empty space, that is called as the third ventricle or diaceal. And diaceal of the diencephalon, lateral ventricle of the cerebral hemisphere, they are all connected by foramen of Monro. Okay, that all these ventricles, they contain cerebrospinal fluid. Now this diencephalon, it is a one box like structure which has three parts: epithalamus, the upper part, roof of the diencephalon; thalamus is the wall of the diencephalon; hypothalamus is the floor of the diencephalon. Now epithalamus contains, it is the roof of the diencephalon, which containing a structure is called choroid plexus. It fuses with the upper part anteriorly with pia mater and produces choroid plexus. Now what is this choroid plexus? It produces cerebrospinal fluid. Also epithalamus containing a pineal body, and that pineal body or the pineal gland secretes hormone melatonin and serotonin. Melatonin has or controls the biological rhythms and some sexual behavior. This is the epithalamus. Then comes thalamus, the middle part, the wall of the diencephalon. The diencephalon has walls which called as thalamus. The thalamus is having RAS, reticular activating center. This reticular activating center is also called as relay center. Now this is one of the important thing. Whatever sensation is coming from throughout your body, that has to pass through this RAS system. RAS system will sort out the impulses and will send to the respective functional area present in the cerebrum. Okay, so all sensory impulses has to pass through this RAS. RAS is sorting out all impulses except the olfactory sensations. Olfactory, the sense of smell impulses is not passing through RAS. So thalamus is containing reticular activating system, which is the sorting out the impulses coming from throughout the body. Now hypothalamus is important. The floor of the diencephalon is called hypothalamus. Thalamus के नीचे है, so it is called hypothalamus. The floor of the hypothalamus is containing a structure, projection is called infundibulum, which is connected to pituitary gland. Also hypothalamus is having the optic chiasma. Optic chiasma means it is a crossing over of two optic nerves coming out from the eyes. They are crossing at the place of hypothalamus, forming a structure is called optic chiasma, and also have a mammary body, pair of mammillary bodies, means the structures looks like similar to mammalian brain, is present over there in hypothalamus, and which is responsible for recollective memory. The hypothalamus has many masses of gray matter, is called hypothalamic nuclei. In the white matter, like the cerebrum, it is also having some nuclei, and this nuclei, they produce hormones, ADH and oxytocin. These hormones are all released to the blood through the pituitary gland. So pituitary gland is connected to your hypothalamus, and these two hormones are secreted directly by hypothalamus. Hypothalamus maintain a homeostasis and involuntary behaviors of the body. Hypothalamus is a link between the nervous and endocrine system. It is the higher center for endocrine system. It controls the pituitary gland. Pituitary gland controls other endocrine systems, endocrine glands. So indirectly hypothalamus controls entire endocrine system of the body. The hypothalamus, what it does, it regulates the heart rate, respiration, blood pressure, body temperature, water and electrolyte balance. Now in case of body temperature is when you are getting fever, when you take paracetamol, that medicine affect your hypothalamus. It has the center for hunger, thirst, sleep and fatigue. Fatigue means tiredness. Satiety center means craving center. Secretion of glands of stomach and intestine. Also, it produces neurohormones that stimulate the pituitary gland. There are many stimulatory hormones are produced by hypothalamus. So, this is all about the hypothalamus part of the diencephalon. So, diencephalon is having all these parts, epithalamus, thalamus and hypothalamus. So, this is all about the forebrain we discussed. Now, see the diagram over here of the sagittal structure of the brain. In this you can see the brain is, this is the central, this is the cerebrum is having the central sulcus divided, this is the central sulcus divided into frontal lobe, this is the frontal lobe, this part is parietal lobe, this is the occipital lobe, these are the all part of this, and below the cerebrum is this part is called diencephalon. This yellow color part is the corpus callosum, and this olfactory lobe, which is not seen over here. So cerebrum and the thalamus, hypothalamus, epithalamus together is called diencephalon, is part of your, this portion is the part of your forebrain. Now this part, blue color part is your pons varolii, this green color part is medulla oblongata, upper part is medulla oblongata, and this is cerebellum. This is your hindbrain. This portion is hindbrain, and the narrow connection between forebrain and hindbrain is called your midbrain or brain stem, part of the brain stem. So this is about the structure of sagittal structure of the section of the brain. So this is the page in the textbook 192 about the brain. And one more page is there, 193, and it is about the different part of this diencephalon. Now in the next video we will discuss about these ventricles of the brain, as well as one more important thing we'll learn is limbic system. Thank you.